Friday, August 9th. And do you know what I have? Besides a lovely bunch of coconuts, I have Band-Aids! Yay! Thanks to my friend Jennifer. She heard me talking about, only having one Band-Aid, only having one Band-Aid. So, and actually it was her first night back at work. Last night too. So we were a pair. They had us do an easy mod. It was like the paper plates and stuff, and then they pretty much had us. There was another mod we were gonna go look at. I thought, oh yeah, it's only 3 sections. It's mostly empty. It's because it's a lot of clearance stuff. And we're like, oh, this should be easy. But then we realized the first 2 sections were taking out a shelf, and the third section was losing its pegs, and the shelves were moving up. So we're like, maybe we shouldn't do this one, since our manager was wanting us to zone. So that's pretty much what we did. But yeah, the first thing Jennifer said when she saw me, she's like, I've got something for you. And she gave me all these different kinds of Band-Aids. She said between her, her stash and the stash that her mom had and everything else, she had plenty to go around. So now I have plenty of Band-Aids should I come up with another blister. So thank you, Jennifer. Yeah, so it was a pretty easy night back at the regular job. And today was at Parks and Rec. That's where my brain was going. Yes, good for me. Yeah, we didn't do much today either. They were pulling up weeds at the ball fields and stuff. So I was just raking them up, and Peter was trying to scrape them out, and sometimes he would come along with the the pitchfork, whatever, and he would pick up the things, the piles that I was scooping up, raking up, and then he'd throw them in the back of the gator. And we almost, when he went to dump, we almost ended up in the trees, because there was this hill. He backed down this hill, not in the one area where it was very steep. And one time last year, I ended up actually driving the mower into the tree line a little bit, because it's I just started sliding and there was nothing to stop me. So it's kind of well, looks like I'm going down. So I went up that hill from that point on. If I was mowing that area, it was a lot safer, it seemed to be. But he went further down to where the hill wasn't quite as steep. But still, when he was trying to go up or whatever, I guess it didn't go right away or something, because we started going backwards until he put his foot on the gas. So, but yeah, we were just doing that, and then did a trash run. I ended up staying until 3 today. I did, but couple extra hours on the paycheck to make up for the days that I missed. And I was actually able to talk to the HR lady at the regular job. Actually, I saw her on the way in this morning, and she was asking me, how you doing? And so we chatted a little bit, and then I mentioned that I tried to call her the last couple days because I was going to see about putting in the legacy sick time that I had. She's like, oh yeah, I can do that for you. From Sunday to Wednesday, whatever. So that'll get taken care of. Yay. So I'll be getting paid even though I wasn't there, which is good. It's always good to get paid. I got my half paycheck from the city today, though I worked a little extra the week that I was there, because there was a couple days where I had 6 hours, and I think there was one where I had 5.5 or something. So I worked a little extra, that week before I had the 2 weeks off. So I mean, it's going to work out, because since I got paid by them this week, these 2 days, and then all next week, will be on that next paycheck. So, and now it's my weekend, and I'm just sitting here relax-a-daxin, you know. But also, I did my, what business did I, oh, I had to pay Tower, and I had to email a police officer. Because Peter was the one that took the photos, and his phone is not very up to date, so he wasn't able to email with his phone. So he sent they finally went through. He had to do it, like, try it 3 frickin' times before it actually, like, finally went through hours later. And then I got him like an hour later or something. But yeah, we were just kind of driving around in the Gator to begin with, to figure out which areas even needed, like, had a whole lot of trash that we needed to go pick up, you know, because he's doing the trash run again tomorrow. So he figured anything we didn't get that, you know, wasn't that big of a deal, he'd just pick up tomorrow when he does the trash run. But we got to Lions Lake, and he noticed, he kept calling it a stick of dynamite. It did look like a stick of dynamite. I don't have a picture of that. It was a firework. It was like a long, you know, skinny tube, and the fuse was actually in the middle, which was weird, because usually the fuse is, like, at the end, one of the ends. But yeah, it was like a long, skinny tube, and, you know, it had the wick in the middle. So I guess that one, maybe they didn't detonate. But it was under one of the porta potties. And there was already, like, a little divot in the ground, and then he saw some of the, there was, like, some screws on the ground. You know, he was slowly piecing it together. But yes, somebody. So I was still sitting in the Gator, because I thought he was just picking it up. You know, I thought he was just, you know, because it was trash, and we were kind of throwing some of the trash in the back, and then, you know, he would go pick it up later, or whatever, or tomorrow. So I thought he was just doing that, but then he started, like, he was finding the, you know, the screws on the ground that were loose. So I got out of the Gator and walked around just out of curiosity, and opened the door to the porta potty, and found this. Destruction. Like, you can see the seat is in like 3 different pieces. Of course, a couple of smaller pieces down there. There's the like the soap dispenser and whatnot. And actually, he got to looking, and he's like, the water was mostly gone from the bottom. Well, they'd blown a hole in the bottom of the frickin' porta potty, and all the water had drained out. So, yeah, that was a nice find. So he messaged Gabe about it, and Gabe told him to call the police. So that's what he called, the police, and, you know, they came out and met us and took pictures, and he wanted the pictures, because we ended up cleaning it up, because we didn't know that Gabe was going to want us to call the police. So, you know, we just picked it up and put it in the trash can, and, you know, that was there. All the pieces and whatnot, and just, you know, threw them in the trash can. So we didn't know, but I mean, it's kind of like, they basically said there's nothing they can do. You know, they're like, because they're like, you don't have any cameras out in this area? We're like, no, not that we know of, you know. So they're like, you know, without, like, evidence, without proof of who did it, I mean, there's basically nothing they can do. He's like, we can ask them, did you do this? And they can say no, and there's nothing we can do of it. Like, you know, basically, you know. But I don't know if for insurance purposes, or for, you know, just so that when somebody goes to replace it, I guess there will be a, you know, some kind of documentation about, you know, the incident, I guess. Depending, you know, somebody's insurance might want it for whatever reason, just to know. I don't know. But so we did our due diligence, and, you know, hung out and talked to the cops, and that was that, you know. So that was fun. Nice way to cap off, you know, cap off a very short week of work for me. So, work in retail and work in Parks and Rec. Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I don't know which has more fucked up stories. I just don't. course, it helps that now we're closed at night, so we don't get the crazy people that used to come in at night. So, of course, it's always fun to have a story, I guess, to tell somebody. It's like, if you're going to do a story, you're going to need to do it before 11 o'clock, because we're going to kick your ass out. But anyway, today is the 9th, so let's find out what our question for the 9th is. What have you reflected on lately? I've reflected on reflecting. I mean, you've asked me a lot of questions, book. So I've reflected on quite a few things, I feel like. But remembering what it was that I reflected on, I don't think it's going to come to me. I just don't. Sorry. I mean, speaking of crazy overnight stories, I was telling Peter the story because we were talking about, the homeless people, whatever. And, how a lot of times, because, our store was open 24 hours, whoever would bring the homeless people to town, they basically just dropped them off there at the store. So they'd be wandering around. And there was this lady one night that, I mean, she wasn't dangerous. I didn't feel any harm was going to come to anyone because of her. But, she was very religious, I guess. And she was, walking around talking to people, I guess trying to convert them or something. She went over, and this was way back when we actually used to have pets and, live pets. That's not right. We used to have fish in live pets. Well, we had a live pets department anyway. And she was over there. She was praying for all the dead fish in the tank, and at one point she was over on the meat wall, praying for all the animals that lost their lives to make lunch meat. So I don't actually even know what ended up happening with her. I don't know if we called someone and they came and picked her up and carted her off somewhere. I don't know. But then there, the other story, which I think I'd already told Peter, but there was a guy who came in one night. He'd been in a fight down on the bar street, and he was all bloody, and he came up and he asked somebody, "Where are your baseball bats?" And the guy he asked was like, we don't have any. So the guy went and got like a machete, and he got a camera. I don't know if he was going to take pictures of him. I don't know. Like he was bound and determined to dole out some street justice. And apparently the cops came in guns drawn on that one. I didn't see it. I missed the whole fucking thing somehow. But I remember somebody at the time, one of the fellow employees, he was talking about, walking around the corner and seeing a bunch of cops with guns. And he was like, whoa. But that was that. So I just reminisced, I guess, about those stories today while we were sitting there waiting for the cops to show up. I don't know. I feel like I've reminisced on quite a bit. What was the story I just told? About pretending to be Link from Legend of Zelda. And I was like, no, you gotta aim. I just reminisced about that story a day or two ago, whenever that was. I mean, I'm sure I've brought up plenty of stories over the last, We've been doing this for like 221? Are we on day 221? I don't know. There's been a lot of stories shared, a lot of memories. So I've reminisced on quite a bit. But remembering exactly what it was that I reminisced upon, I don't feel like I can tell you. And it's like, I guess I don't really sit around thinking about things or talking. I mean, you would think, I guess, since, I just had to near-death experience, apparently. Everybody keeps telling me it was a very serious situation. So, I mean, I guess it was. So, you would think, I guess, that, you know, maybe I'd reminisce over my life for that, but it's like, I'm just sitting here watching TV and random fucking YouTube videos for no reason. So that's all I can remember reminiscing reminiscing upon recently. That's all I can tell you. I was telling somebody recently, why were we talking about, maybe it was when I was in the hospital. That first night, that first Sunday. Because I was talking about the needle or whatever. I had an ingrown toenail when I was a teenager. An infected ingrown toenail. I guess that's what it was. Maybe because they were talking about, you know, when they were, you know, shooting me up. Shooting me up. Still have some light bruises. They're mostly gone away. But they were saying something about, you know, it hurting a little bit or pinching a little bit or something. And I was telling them the story of when, I mean, that needle, oh my God, that he had to inject me with. I saw just a brief, it was so long and so thick. And I was like, oh my God, that's a giant needle. And he's like, you know, he told me when he put it, you know, when he put it in, hey, it was going to feel like somebody was pouring hot water over my toe. And oof, it did. It did for, you know, it wasn't very long, probably like, I don't know, 20 seconds, maybe 10, 20 seconds, something like that, somewhere in between there. I mean, it hurt, but then it didn't hurt anymore. And then he did what he needed to do to, you know, get out the ingrown toenail, I guess, and we all moved on with our lives. But so there you go. I reminisced upon that at some point. Oh, goodness. So, rightio. But that's about it, I guess. So, Minxie's off in dreamland somewhere. Good for her. But anyway, I guess I will upload this. I will get this a-going. And maybe take a nap. Who knows? The shadow knows. I keep needing to rewatch that movie, because I remember I watched it. I don't remember it very well. So I feel like I must not have liked it. Maybe I didn't watch the whole thing. I don't know. Maybe it was too boring. I don't know. I like The Phantom with Billy Zane and Catherine Zeta-Jones. So, I don't remember who else is in that movie, but I feel like I've probably talked about The Shadow, because I keep saying that. The Shadow knows. I don't even know. I don't know if that's on streaming or if you can rent it, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I need to rent Abigail. That's available now. I mean, it should be on one of the streaming services soon, I would think. Jeez. Eventually, maybe. Who knows? The Shadow knows. Oh, we already answered that question. Were you not paying attention? Neither was I. But anyway, that is that. And I'll see you for what I see you.